Howdy folks, we're going to pick it back up here and take a look at some other controls we can add here. So we've got our main menu here for ordering, and then we're going to take a look at some of these checkboxes now. This is another common option here, and this is going to allow us to have more than one of these checked at a time. So the idea here is we'll drop these in, and we'll say, how about this is milk, and then again we need FX IDs here. So this is the milk checkbox, so I can reference these in code. And then again, an on action, great. Probably don't really need to do a whole lot here because all we really care about is it's going to go and do the check receipt. We're going to go and see what has been checked here. But we need to know that we should trigger something here. So we'll just say this is the milk checkbox checked or something like that. Or how about add in, because it's a add in checkbox checked? Sure, why not? We can go with that. So we'll have a milk checkbox. We'll have a this one will be our half and half, half and half. Oh, we can't have spaces here in our FX IDs. Half and half checkbox. On action will be the same one. We didn't add it in here yet. This will be half and half. And then these ones, usually those are free. And then if you go to something a little fancier here, which now I am team soy milk, now that dairy doesn't seem to be so appreciated by my body here. This will be soy milk. And soy milk, we're going to add an additional charge here. Well, we're going to say, hey, this is plus 50 cents. Because, soy milk's a little bit expensive. And it's not too much more, actually, but that's okay. We'll go and have this one here. So this is our soy milk checkbox. And the add-in checkbox checked. Great. So we got those. We'll come back to IntelliJ, make sure we save, update the controller from the fxml, add in our imports here. And now our receipt now needs to do some extra things. And again, all we need to do is show receipt in our add-in checkbox checked. We'll just show the receipt. So this is the main receipt here. Now, this doesn't quite work, though, because now if we're going to have additional charges, we need to have something else here. So let's have a total cost variable here. So we'll have a double for total cost. Sorry, I'm mixing up my styling here. So total cost will start at 0. And then let's say, okay, this will be espresso. And then we're going to take total cost plus equals $1.50. Right? And then we'll have coffee. And then we will take our total cost plus equal $1. Right? And then latte, we'll take that total cost plus equals $2 here. Okay, so we can do that for the radio buttons here. And we're going to do the same idea here for those checkboxes. We could say, hey, if the milk checkbox is selected, and then I'm going to take my receipt label here, and I'm going to set the text to the receipt label get text here, and I'm going to add to it with milk, right? Just kind of add in that option here. And now these ones, more than one of them can be selected here. So I'm going to I can just kind of copy paste this here. This will be the half and half, and we'll say with half and half. And then we can do one more for soy milk. So our soy milk checkbox with soy milk. And then if we picked soy milk, we're going to take that total cost plus equals 50 cents. Now, the problem here, though, is if it's not selected, we might have already added to that total cost. And this starts to get a little bit tricky here, because every time one of these gets selected here, we don't want to be adding an additional 50 cents every time, right? So we need to be a little careful. I think we'll be okay because we're going to reset total cost to 0 every time we call this method here. But we do want to be a little bit careful with this. And then I think we should be in pretty good shape. Then we'll take our receipt label, and then we're going to set the text to the receipt label get text, and then we'll add to that the $ plus my total cost here. And again, you could do some fancy formatting. We don't care too much at this point here for that. I mean, sure, we could, I guess. So we can do string.format given this, and then what is it, a %.2f for a floating point number, and then we add in that one here. That sounds about right. This is not the kind of thing that's worth having in your head. Just go look up how to do that, but it should be okay. So coffee for $1, coffee with milk for $1, coffee with milk and half for $1, sure, whatever. Coffee with soy milk, $1.50. Latte with soy milk, $2.50. Espresso with soy milk, $2. I can have half and soy milk if I want, right? And these sort of just work here now because I'm calling that show receipt button. The show receipt method, which just says, hey, which ones of these are picked here? That's all we need. Okay. Now, the problem is some people, depending on what they get here, don't want just milk. They want 2 servings of milk or 3 servings of milk or 4 servings of milk. My pastor drinks this most horrible beverage in the world that he calls a triple triple from Tim Hortons. And I don't know how he can stand it here, but he gets 3 shots of sugar and 3 servings of sugar and 3 servings of milk. And at that point, it's not coffee anymore. And I just make fun of him all the time when he drinks it. But that's what he likes. So, I mean, not everyone can drink black coffee all the time. So, but it's better for you anyway. So I'm glad I learned how to drink coffee black here. So it'd be fun if we could add a way to say, hey, how much of this here do we want? So we can do that. And go ahead and give it a stop here. So another control that we can use here, which is kind of fun, is a slider. So I'm going to add a horizontal slider here. Now, the sliders are fun. They have a min and a max. So let's just say the max here is 5 because otherwise, that's just insane here. So we'll have tick marks and tick labels here. And we want major tick unit to be 1, and we don't need any minor tick counting here. So you can customize this to be any sort of range and have major marks and labels and all sorts of fun things. And we do want to snap the ticks here because you can't have half a, I guess maybe you can, but it gets a little awkward here. So that's okay. So this will be our slider here. And then we'll go give this an FX ID. So this is our milk slider. And I'm just going to do one of these for now. I don't think you need to see all the examples shown in here. We'll have the milk slider shown in here. Okay. So when we go and show this here, we say with, and then we need some amount of milk here. So we need to see what that value of the milk slider is. So we'll go take a look at our, I didn't update the controller here. So let me go update the controller from FXML. Back to my controller. Let's see, I've got the slider. We got to add the import for slider, import the class for slider. Okay, there we go. Now I can say, hey, this is my int number of milks to add. And we have my milk slider dot get value here. Now the problem is get value is giving me a double, and I want to save it as an int here. So this error is saying, hey, required type int provided double. So because generally those sliders can kind of work for any sort of range here, which is nice. So we just say, hey, I really want this thing as an integer, please. Right? We're just going to do a hard cast here, turn it into an integer. And then with how much milk here, well, now we need to go and say, okay, well, let's add in that value here. So how about we just do the string format? Why not? We'll do a string format. Now, integer values are %d. I like to say for digits here. And we'll say milks, maybe with a parenthesis here, because I don't want to bother. If it's 1, say 1 milk. Otherwise, it's 2 milks or whatever other nonsense here. So we'll say that ought to work here. Now, the awkward thing is it could be 0, right? And we're probably actually going to default to 0 here. So, format specifier %d. Oh, I never gave it what value to put in there. Oops, milks, comma, my number of milks to add. There we go. So this error here said, hey, in my string formatter here, at coffee shop, hello, add receipt, line 65. So that I could tell that's where the error was at line 65 here. Try that again. All right, so coffee with 0 milks. Well, we probably don't want it to be 0, but now I could have, oops, nothing's happening here because there's no event handler for the slider. I can change it, and now when I check milk, I'll get the 5 milks here, or 4 milks, but we really want that slider to be doing that as well. So let's go take a look and see one of these here. I think it is, oh goodness, this one's a fun one. On scroll, I think it is. We want to do something here, so we'll say the milk slider scroll. I think it's a milk slider scroll. I always get these ones mixed up and usually have to go Google it here. Let's try that. So the milk slider scroll, let's see if we can add that event. We just want to show receipt here. Let's see if that one works for us as we slide that one. So with milk, 0 milks. Nope, not the scroll. Oh goodness, what event is it here? Let's see. It's one of these events. So it's not a zoom, it's not a touch, it's not a swipe, it's not a rotate. Milk slider scroll. Not the on scroll. where is it here? One of these ones does it for us. Maybe on drag detected, milk slider, scroll. We'll try that one and see. That one might be it here. So let's go and update that one. Okay, give it a stop and a run. See if that works for us here. There we go. Okay, so it's not as I'm still scrolling, it's not changing, but as soon as I let go, it looks like it's getting it for me. Oh, what? It's 5, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so it's not getting the value where it's getting the value where I started, not the value where I ended. This is a funny one here. Okay, that's not what we wanted here. So we're getting close though. So not on drag detected. How about on drag done? Milk slider scroll. Let's try that one. So when the drag is done, it should do that here. So when we're done dragging, doesn't do anything. Nothing. Do we not update? I didn't update. Let's update the controller. Let's try it here. We'll get it. We'll get it with one of these ones here. Nothing. Okay, so that's not the one that we wanted. Not on drag done, on drag dropped, maybe? Oops. On drag dropped, milk slider scroll. On mouse drag released. Maybe it's that one. We'll find it. It's one of these ones here. And if not, we'll just go back to Google. But I feel like we can get this working. Nope. Okay, so we want which one here? JavaFX slider event handler while dragging. Sure. How about that? Only change the value when dragging. Let's see. What do we want here? Oh, this is an annoying thing. So we haven't got to this yet. So we're gonna look at this next week as well, where you can deal with all these things in code, and this is what the book actually goes through. But I don't want to have to do any of that. That's annoying. Event handler, sliders. Here's the slider. Okay, here's our documentation here for slider. Maybe this will be helpful here then. So where do we get our events then? Something about slide. Sliders, constructors. Okay, I think slide was the wrong one to look for here. That's okay. Nope. Constructors. Oh, goodness. Slide. Event. While dragging. Dragging. Drag and drop events. This is going to be what we want here. No. Okay, so that's going to be obnoxious here. Not doing what we want it to do. That's a bummer. Okay, I was excited for the slider. I had this working before. Maybe I just am on the wrong one here. Let's do, because on drag detected was working, right? But just not quite what we wanted. Well, maybe on drag exit. Did we try drag? I think we tried drag exit, didn't we? Let's try it again. Update the controller, stop and run. We'll get the slider to work one of these times. It's going to work for us. Oh, okay. So when I stopped clicking on it, that sort of worked, but that's not what we want. So that's no. So it exits when I stopped, like clicked off of it onto something else here. So let's see. You know, I'll find it after and I'll post it, update the code here for you. So that's some fun working with this, and then we'll take a look at doing this with a class behind the scenes in the next video. Thanks, folks.